here na Ardasbog an Orlamach Dan a Hishig agus Gwina agus Gearóid O Ceallaigh. Today we are unveiling these plaques to mark a historically significant moment both for clans of Ireland and for the relationship between clans of Ireland and Christ Church Cathedral. In addition to commemorating the fact that this ancient chapter house has now become the permanent home for clans of Ireland. The members of the board of Clans of Ireland have been made to feel very, very welcome here for many years. I think it was since 2010. And while we've been accommodated at Board of Directors meeting, thanks very much to the generosity of Dean Dermot Dunn. This new phase of our mutual association increases the sense of connection with this extraordinarily important building that each member of not just the Board of Directors but of our organisation has. Since the 11th century, Christ Church Cathedral has played a significant part in the history of medieval Dublin and more broadly through Ireland's history. It has association with Gaelic, Hiberno-Norse and Anglo-Irish traditions. It was here in 1395 that King Richard II sat in state in this very room, I believe, to receive homage from the kings of the 4 provinces: O'Neill of Ulster, O'Connor of Connaught, MacMurrough of Leinster, and of course O'Brien of Munster. Nearly a century later, in 1487, Lambert Simnel, the pretender to the English throne in the reign of Henry VII, was crowned here in Christ Church as Edward VI. The person most notably associated with the cathedral, as was referenced by the Dean, is Lorcan O'Toole, known in English as Lawrence O'Toole. He was Archbishop of Dublin at the time of the Norman invasion of Ireland and played a prominent role in mediating between the parties during and after the invasion. He was also a leading light of the church reform movement in the 12th century and was canonized early in the 13th century. His connection to Gaelic clans is that in addition to his O'Toole bloodline, he was also connected to the O'Byrnes, as his mother was of the branch of the ancient Dunlinga clan, which was again in the Wicklow, South Dublin area. It is undoubtedly the case that Christ Church has been historically identifiable for the past millennium and is now deeply rooted within the Gaelic, Hiberno, Viking and Anglo-Irish traditions that collectively make up the Irish establishment, as the Archbishop referred to. It is also undoubtedly the case that the person who is most contemporaneously identifiable with this cathedral is the Reverend Dermot Dunn. I would like to express our profound gratitude to you, Dermot, for according Clans of Ireland with this singular honour. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to introduce you to one of Ireland's most renowned specialists in Viking Dublin, author of Viking Dublin, the Wood Quay excavation, and former director of the National Museum of Ireland, Dr. Patrick Wallace. Dr. Wallace is perhaps most notable for his heroic record as the archaeologist of what was one of the most controversial and lengthy archaeological excavations ever undertaken in this country. Those of us of an age remember it clearly. That began in 1974, just down from here at Wood Quay and Fishamble Street, when he was aged just 25. Later, he went on to become director of the National Museum, where he remained for almost a quarter of a century, and it shows. He is remembered as having been an articulate exponent of the archaeological agenda, standing up vigorously against other national bodies in disagreements associated with other important and sensitive sites such as Tara, Woodstown and Carrick Mines. Perhaps he gained his love of archaeology, wittingly or unwittingly, from the stone walls of his native place at Wallace's Cross, near Askeaton in County Limerick. But for members of Clans of Ireland, his family, the Wallaces, illustrates the indisputable association between ancestral place and family. Not everybody has a cross called after them. Last week, Breed and I were on our way from a jaunt on Mullaghmore in the Burn, when we passed the beautifully restored tower house, Ballyportry Castle. It wasn't until after we got home that I recalled that it had been conserved by Siobhan, Pat's wife. Heidi down at the back. And finally, the penny dropped. It wasn't the walls of the fields in West Limerick that have been the inspiration for Dr. Wallace's life's work, but his entrepreneurial and intrepid lady wife. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Dr. Patrick Wallace.